Hi, senior parents. My name is Greg Stolzer,
And I'm Brett Littlehale.
and we're going to do a quick presentation tonight on highlights for this year and some things to keep in mind as we go through it for our seniors.
And the goals of the evening is to give you a brief overview of what to expect when it comes to post-secondary planning for this year, and also hit on the college and career resource page for the class of 2021. It'll be a great resource as you move forward, and we'll hit on it quite a bit in this presentation.
As Brett mentioned, we've got some different resources available for the students, and it's going to be really important for them to stay on top of those resources. And also, just even before we get into the more specifics of our resources, obviously this year is unique, and it's going to be really important for our seniors and their families to really be checking the websites of the different schools that they may be applying to, whether it's a four-year college or a two-year school or a technical program that they may be applying to, because lots of things have changed given COVID. So it's important to be on top of those changes and to plan ahead.
In terms of the Downers Grove North student resources, the College and Career Planning website is going to have a lot of information on a variety of topics. This website was shared with students as part of their Google Classrooms a couple weeks ago, and they were asked to do a Discover You presentation where there was a handful of small videos where they could choose which ones to select that worked for them based on where they were and what they were thinking moving forward. We also have Make It Happen Mondays. It's a time slot where students are invited to sign up to meet with their counselors in 15-minute increments and can sign up as often as needed. Also, I think a big thing with us as counselors, if students need help, just make sure you're reaching out anytime for support, but that Make It Happen Mondays is a set time frame dedicated to college and career related services for us.
One thing we want to emphasize too is that we have a lot of links in this presentation. Most of those links go back to our college and career planning website, so you can click on things and go to the pages that we are referencing. Well, let's talk quickly just about testing. Speaking of changes and things like that, with the ACT and the SAT, many colleges are now test optional or even test blind, meaning they don't even consider the testing. But really, you have to look at the individual school and read about its requirements and to understand that. Should a family say that they want to pursue more testing, there hopefully will be opportunities with the ACT, and we have the ACT link there. And then the SAT, we have testing here at school as part of a state requirement on October 14th, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here soon.
Continuing along in September, application materials. For schools, everything will be different. Most important thing is going to be looking at their specific website and what they want. Utilizing the Make It Happen Mondays to help support if there's some questions on what those requirements are. Some students will need a large recommendation. Others will be having to write essays. Both of these links on here will bring you back to a page that talks a little bit more in depth about that. But with letters of recommendation, one thing we run into quite a bit is just make sure you're thoughtful, or your students are thoughtful on who they're asking and what they need. If a school needs 2 letters of rec, don't be asking more than 2 teachers for those because of the amount of time that goes into those. So just something to keep in mind.
If students are still adding schools to their list, and lots of kids do still in the fall of senior year, we have these resources that are available and linked here.
With the application, again, make sure read the applications very closely. It's good to have somebody else take a look at it as well. You'll also need to be sending transcripts out to most schools. Some schools are self-reporting, but I would say many of them and most of them are still transcripts are needed. The transcript request process is one we get a lot of questions on. The link for that is here. And also, again, will the schools need the letters of rec? And also our test score is going to be required, again, specific for each school.
With College at DuPage, we have a separate page on our website for College at DuPage information. So we link it here and invite kids to go there for more information. But College at DuPage is a great resource and a great opportunity for students as they're kind of making plans and thinking about their post-secondary plans. And because COD does have so many different programs for kids to consider.
Financial aid, a couple great resources here. The financial aid process has been moved up over the years to look at kind of net price calculators, the FAFSA forecaster, what could you anticipate the government saying you could afford, which then schools will use. Here's two great resources to go and take a look at.
Some October dates to note. With the SAT and ACT testing, that's really going to be family specific. If you're looking for more testing opportunities, please go to their websites specifically for that. We have no school on Monday, October 12th because of Columbus Day. Those could be opportunities to see school. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Wednesday, October 14th. This is the class of 2021 SAT test day at DGN. So we are hosting it. It meets the SAT graduation requirement for the class. And students should be registering through their English classes, or somehow the school will be managing that registration, and we'll give students information.
Just some more on financial aid. The FAFSA, you complete that on or after October 1st, 2020. So here in the next couple of weeks, it becomes available and live. Also check deadlines carefully. This is one I really want to emphasize. Financial aid applications for colleges and universities are often different than application deadlines. For instance, your student might say, hey, I'm going to apply to these schools in November, but I'm going to do the January deadline, the regular decision deadline for many schools, which is January 1st, 15th, February 1st, whatever that date is. But it's going to be important to look because a lot of those schools will have the financial aid deadline in November or in December. So while, yes, you might get in to those other schools you applied later to, the financial aid deadlines in terms of scholarships available may have been cut off already. So that's something really important to keep in mind.
Just continuing in November, it's so important to check the school's websites for application deadlines, and keep in mind that Tuesday, November 3rd is election day, so the kids do not have school that day. Another opportunity to visit schools.
Looking at private scholarships, this again will be a link back to our resource page for students. Can stop on in, assuming you get back to the hybrid model, or obviously just always shoot us emails and we could give some ideas in terms of scholarships. The College and Career Center is a great resource for these as well. Over winter break, we want to keep in mind kind of deadlines. We're asking students 10 to 15 days ahead of time to get stuff into us so we can have time to process and get out. So if a student does have a January 1st deadline or wants stuff submitted by the end of the year, they're going to have to work back to the beginning of December to really get that stuff to us to make sure stuff gets handed in.
In January, that continues to be a big time for students to be looking at scholarships. So continue to use the College and Career Center and our website as good resources for scholarships. Always better to look at local scholarships first, as that gives you the best chance for getting money.
Kind of moving along in the year into February, high school coursework. We see a lot of students, they come up with the term senioritis. Not really a true thing. I think it's more of just taking the pedal off the metal and getting a little bit lazy. It's gonna be important to keep those grades up. Colleges will look at it. They'll look at those final transcripts to make sure things didn't fall off. Also, university housing, different deadlines coming forward, information coming home with those, and then continuing to look with scholarships.
February, usually in this February, kind of January, February, March timeframe is when you'll start getting information from colleges about financial aid. Given the times that we're in right now, some schools are definitely feeling the pressure to compete more for students. It never hurts to reach out to a school if you feel like you like this, your child likes the school, but maybe the money could be, you're hoping to have it be a little bit better in terms of scholarships. Never hurts to call a school and to talk to them and their financial aid office about opportunities that maybe you're not aware of for more money.
Jumping forward to April, admissions and actions. By the end of the month, decisions will be being made. You want to let schools know that you are going to be attending or your child will be attending, but also make sure you let students, have your student let colleges know that they're not going to be attending This will free up a spot for somebody else. Then also just make sure you're sending necessary deposits and forms. And again, this stuff, it was in the spring a little fluidity to it based off of normal years, just based on changing times. So just pay attention to those things and hit deadlines because those will be important as well.
So as we kind of wrap things up here, May 1st is a decision day for many colleges where you have to notify them of the enrollment decision. That is a Saturday this year, so certainly look closely at the college's website for more specifics on when that deadline is. And then we get transcripts out to colleges, final transcripts out by the middle of June. And seniors complete a senior exit survey and they tell us where they want us to send their final transcripts.
And thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation today. There's, again, a lot of resources we went over, a lot of links that are in here. Please make sure to utilize the link on the bottom here, the College of Career Planning page. And also, there's a lot of career resources. We didn't hit a lot in this presentation, but there's a lot of career research, career planning in there as well. So another great resource to utilize.